This is the harrowing moment a speeding drink driver killed a woman, leaving her body in bits on the road as her father urges drinkers to leave their car keys at home. Megan Brogan's leg was severed at the knee as she was thrown 50 feet in the air after Jake Mitchell, 25, jumped a red light as she walked across a pedestrian crossing. The 28-year-old was killed at the scene and Mitchell dashed from his car when he realized what he had done. He was arrested a few hours later, found to be 2.5 times the legal limit, and is now serving 5.5 years in prison. Megan's father Ian was just yards away from the crash and witnessed the tragedy unfold in Stoke Gifford, Bristol, on the night of January 19, 2016. Less than 2 years after her death, he has returned to the scene of the crime to make a desperate appeal for drinkers to leave their car keys at home, reports the Bristol Post. He said, "My daughter was very precious to me. I don't want anybody else to have to read an eulogy to their daughter. Anybody who is considering getting into their car when they have alcohol in their system, whether they are overwhelmed or not, they can take a life. That is not all they take. I will have no grandchildren, neither will my partner, neither will her stepfather who loved her as much as I did." The family has released the shocking footage of the crash in hopes people will think twice before drink driving. Mitchell, formerly Stoke Gifford, was sentenced in February that year to 5.5 years in prison after the court heard he had a previous conviction for drink driving dating back to 2012. Ian hit out at the sentence at the time, explaining how his daughter's body parts were left scattered on the road, adding, "When I stepped over what I thought was a piece of steak, it was in fact a piece of her body." Megan had dreams of becoming a pub landlord, and hundreds of people dressed in pink turned up at her funeral to say their final goodbyes. She had just started in pub management. And even though she worked with drink every day of her life, she never got in a car with a drink in her, Ian said. "Whoever does it should think they could take a life. They could see their car smash into somebody, like I saw that car smash into my daughter, driven into the windscreen, seen her thrown in the air, run down. Anybody who thinks it's a joke to get in a car or it's fine, I've only had one, know they can basically become a killer. They will have to take that with them for the rest of their lives." Avon and Somerset Triforce Chief Inspector Shirley Eden said, "Megan's death was an avoidable tragedy which cut short a life full of promise and has caused unimaginable sadness for her family, friends and the community. If you get behind the wheel under the influence of drink or drugs, you are risking your life and the lives of those around you. Please don't take that risk." PCC Sumount Stevens said, "Every day Ian and his family are forced to live with the pain of losing their loved one, Megan. The fact they were prematurely robbed of Megan's life because someone chose to drink and drive, no doubt makes her death even harder to come to terms with. I am extremely grateful to them for sharing their story. It is never acceptable to drink and drug drive. When driving under the influence of any substance and getting behind the wheel of a vehicle, you put both yourself and others at risk, and the consequences can be devastating.